Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to Php Knowledge. So today we will start a new tutorial series called PHP Tutorials for Beginners. So if you want to learn PHP and you are a beginner, then this is the perfect tutorial for you. So I have divided this tutorial series into 8 parts over here. Here you can see in the first part we will create a PSP project. I'll show you how you can do it. And in the second part, I will talk about some basic about PHP, like how we can declare variable, if else, for loop, and also talk about database. And in the third part, I will show you how we can insert data in database in PHP. And at the fourth part, I'll show you how we can display those data from the database. And I will also show you how we can delete data, update data, and search data in PHP. And in the last part of this tutorial series, I will show you how you can create login and registration in PHP. So this is the first video. So in this part, I am going to show you how you can create a PSP project. So in order to create PSP project, you need to have XAMPP installed in your device. So I would assume that you already have XAMPP installed in your device, but let me just go through some basic about XAMPP because I want to make sure that we are actually on the same page. So for downloading and installing XAMPP, it is really simple. All you have to do is that search for download XAMPP, and then you will see something like this, and you just have to go to the first link over here. Here you can see XAMPP download Apache friends. So if you just click on this link, it will take you to this page. Here you can see XAMPP for Windows, XAMPP for Linux, and XAMPP for OS. And here you can see different version of XAMPP. So always remember that always install the most latest version. I'm not going to download XAMPP because I already have XAMPP installed in my device. So in order to download it, all you have to do is that click this download button and it will automatically start downloading. And installing is really simple. You just have to click next and finish, just like other installation. And you can actually install XAMPP in anywhere you want. You can install it inside local disk C, local disk F, local disk C, anywhere you want. So I install my XAMPP inside my local disk C. If I go down over here, you can see XAMPP, a folder over here, and if I go inside here, you can see a lot of file over here, and we will be actually only working with this htdocs folder. So once you install XAMPP, so if you go to your Windows search menu and search for XAMPP, you will be able to open the XAMPP control panel. Now I am actually recording this video without the taskbar, so let me just show you another way how you can open XAMPP. All we have to do is that go inside this XAMPP folder, and if you go down here, you can see XAMPP start, XAMPP stop, and XAMPP control. All you have to do is that click this XAMPP control, and then XAMPP control panel, something like this will appear, and here you can see Apache and Mysql over here. So you have to start the Apache and Mysql. So just click on the start button over here, and it will look like this, stop and stop. And here you also need to look at the ports over here. Here you can see my port number is 80 and 443, and for your case the port number will be different. It might be 8080 or maybe 8000. By default it's actually 8080, but I changed my port number. So right now, once you start the XAMPP, all you have to do is that go to your browser and write over here localhost and give this clone sign, and over here you can see that my port number is 80. So I'm going to write over here 80. You write whatever your port number over here is, and after this all you have to do is that give a slash, then we will say dashboard, and if you press enter, you will see something like this. Here you can see welcome to XAMPP, and here you can see PHP my admin. So I'm just going to click on this PHP my admin, and then you will see something like this. So over here we actually create our database and table. So we'll talk about or discuss about this in the next tutorial. So let me just first create a PSP project. So can we create PSP project anywhere we want? No, actually no. If you want to create a PSP project, you have to go inside your XAMPP folder wherever you download your XAMPP. Then you have to go inside this htdocs folder, and we have to create our project inside this htdocs folder. So let me just say it again. You have to go inside XAMPP, then htdocs, and create your project inside this htdocs folder. So first of all, let's just create a folder over here. I'll just right click and then click new, then folder, and over here we're just going to say PSP, let's say beginner, and let's press enter. Okay, we right now have a folder called PSP beginners, and there is nothing inside it. So let me just open this PSP beginner folder using my Sublime text. You can use any text editor you want. You can use VS Code, Atom, or Notepad++, anything you want. I use Sublime text. So all I have to do is that click file, and here you can see open folder. Then I will just go directly local disk C, then XAMPP, and here you can see htdocs, and here you can see our project PSP beginner, and I'm just going to click over here, select folder. So here you can see PSP beginner folder over here. Now we need to create a PSP file inside this PSP beginner folder. So for creating a file, we just need to say over here index.php. Now the extension of PSP is always will be .php. You can give the file name anything you want. You can say it over here abcd or efg, anything you want. So I'll just go with index, and now I'll click Ctrl S, and then I'll click save. So here you can see we have a folder called index.php. And if we go to my file folder, here you can see, if I go inside, here you can see index.php. So now let me just write a basic HTML over here, and inside this title, let's say PHP for beginner, and inside this body, let's just say over here h1 tag, let's say hello. Save it. Now how we can run this Psp project. Now for HTML, all we have to do is that double click over here, and it automatically open the file or project in the browser. And for PHP, it is actually a little bit different. For PHP, let me just show you here. You can see that our folder name is PSP beginner, and inside this PSP beginner we have index.php. So we have to say over here localhost clone 81 / and then we have to say PHP beginners. This here you can see PSP beginners. This is actually this folder name PSP beginners. You have to write it exactly like this. And inside this PSP beginner we have index.php. So after beginners we are going to give another / and we are going to say index.php. and now if we press enter, here you can see hello. Now this hello is actually here you can see this is actually HTML code, not PSP code. Now in order to write PSP code inside HTML, we have to give this hot, then we have to say over here PHP, and this is the PSP opening, and we need to close this PSP, and we need to close it like this, and we need to write our PSP code inside this part. So here we are going to say echo is used in PSP to print something. So let's say here inside this echo, let's say hello. Save it and let's refresh. So here you can see another hello over here, and this is actually PHP code. So if you now inspect this, let me just show you. I'll just right click over here and then click inspect, and here let me just click over here in the body. So here you can see there is h1 tag over here, and here is two double quotation, and inside it hello. So our browser can differentiate that this is PHP code and this is HTML code. So this is all about this tutorial. So in this tutorial I showed you how we can create a PSP project. So in the next tutorial we will see some basic of PHP like variable, if else, for loop, and we'll also connect our PSP project to the database. So thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video then don't forget to subscribe this channel, and if you face any problem or confusion then let me know in the comment section, and thanks again for watching. Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to PSP tutorial for beginner. So this is the second video of this tutorial series. So in the first tutorial we create a PSP project. So in this video we are going to see some basic of PHP, like we'll talk about variable, if else, for loop, and also how we can connect our PSP project to the database. So first of all, let me just go through what we did in the first tutorial. So in the previous tutorial we created this PSP beginner folder, and inside it we have this index.php, and we also open this folder using Sublime Text. Over here you can see, and we write a few lines of code over here, and this is the end result of those code. So before talking about variable, let me just talk a little bit more about this echo. So echo is not the only way to print string or anything. There is one more way to print, that is print. All you have to do is that write print, and inside it you can say, let me just say over here, hello from print. And if you save it, okay, let me just give a semicolon, save it, and if you refresh, here you can see hello from print over here. Okay, now what if you want this hello to be a little bit bigger than this hello? Then all we have to do is that what you can do first, that you can write h-on tag before this Psp opening, and you can close the h-on tag over here, and if you save it and if you refresh, here you can see hello and hello over here. But what if you want this hello and this hello size to be different? Then obviously you cannot do this keep h-on tag before this PHP. So let me just remove this h-on tag. So let's say you only want this h-on tag to be bigger, so you have to give h-on tag before this hello and inside this single double quotation, and we also need to close this h-on tag. So if you save it and if you refresh, here you can see this hello is bigger and this hello is smaller. Now what's the main difference between this echo and print? The first thing is echo is actually faster than print. So in PHP we will mostly use echo than print, but the main difference between those two is that print can actually return a variable, but echo is only used for printing things. So this is everything about how we can print things in PHP. So now let's talk about variable. Okay, inside this PHP obviously we need to declare the variable because we are talking about PHP variable. So in order to declare PHP variable, we have to give this $sign, and we need to give a name. You can give any name you want. Let's say here username. You can say over here ABCD. You can give any name. So let's go with username is equal to, and we'll give this two double quotation, and inside it let's say here yamin, and let's declare another variable. Let's say here number is equal to, let's say 10. Now here you can see we give a double quotation over here, so this one will be considered as a string, and here you can see there is no double quotation over here, and we write a number over here, so this variable will be considered as a number. So this username will be considered as a string. So you can do the same for boolean variable. Let's say here dollar, let's say abc is equal to true, then this will consider as a boolean variable. Now let's just try to print those two. So in order to print them, all you have to do is that you just have to write over here echo, then to double clone, and we are going to say dollar username, and it will end with a semicolon. Now let's also print the number. Let me just copy this one and paste it over here, and let's say here num, which is this one. You also need to make sure that you give the $sign before them. So if you save it now, and if we now refresh, here you can see hello, and here you can see yamin and a number over here which is 10. You can also make summation or multiply in PHP as well. So let me just show you. Here you can see, let's say here number 1, let's declare another variable. Okay, let me just copy it, it will be faster. And here this one will be number 2, let's say here 20. and here let's declare a variable. Let's say here add is equal to we are going to say number on, Control C, let me just paste it over here, plus number 2, and we'll end it with a semicolon. Now if we echo this add, we should get 30. Let me just say over here echo add, save it, and let me just refresh, and here you can see the name and the number, which is 30. So those are the basic of the variable and print. So now let's talk about if else. So let me just say over here in PHP we just write over here if. Okay, before if, let me just declare a variable. Let's say here $a is equal to on, and now let's declare a if condition, and inside this if we're going to say a equal on, and we'll give 2 second brackets. So we are going to say if a equal on, then print, not print, echo let's say subscribe this channel, and we'll need to give a semicolon, and if a equal is not on, then we'll go to else condition, echo the value of a is not on. So now if we save it and if we now refresh, we should see, okay, there's an error, undefined constant a. Okay, we need to give a $sign over here, $a, actually I did a mistake. So now let's save it and let's refresh. Okay, here you can see subscribe this channel. Now let me just change this value to 0 and let's refresh. Here you can see the value of a is not on. So this was the if else condition. So now let me just make it on, and let's make its size bigger. Let's say here h on tag, and let's in this h on tag, and let me save it and let me just refresh here. So here you can see subscribe this channel is now bigger. Okay, since you are saying this subscribe this channel, then make sure to subscribe this channel if this video is helpful to you to learn PHP. So after if condition, now let's talk about our for loop. So for creating a loop, all you have to do is that you need to write for, and you need to give 2 first bracket. Inside this first bracket we are going to declare a variable. Let's say $I. You can declare any variable you want, and then we need to initialize a value. Let's say $I is equal to 0. Then we need to give a semicolon, and after this we'll say again $I, and here we're going to give a condition. Let's say less than 0, and then let's give another semicolon, and we'll say $I plus plus. So first of all we are saying that at the beginning the value of I is 0, then we are giving a condition that I value cannot be greater than 10 or equal to 10, and here we are increasing the value of I. So here we'll print, or we'll say echo, and inside it let's say yamin, and let's just give over here h2 tag, and let's close this h2 tag, and let me just give a semicolon, and if we save it now, Control S, and if you go to a browser, let's refresh over here. Here you can see yamin, which is printed 10 times. We give a condition over here, I is equal to 0, then we said I smaller than 10, then I plus plus. So it will print this name yamin until I value is less than 10. It means at the first time I value will be on. At the second time, here you can see we are increasing the I value. So at the second time I value will be 2, 3, 4, and it will print yamin until it reached a value 10. Okay, so this was the for loop in PHP. So after for loop, right now we are going to talk about how we can connect our this PHP file or project to our database. Now for that we need to first create a database. So let me just go to my localhost, and over here you can see a new option over here. So if you click it, you will see something like this database name. So we are going to give a database name over here. So let's say here PHP tutorial. Okay, let's say with PSP beginners. You can give any name you want. I will just go with this name, and here you can see create button over here, and if you click it, here you can see it created a database called PSP beginners. So let me just show you how we can connect our PSP project or file to this database. So for it, let me just go back to my Sublime text. So here let me just go at the top. Here you can see we started PHP from here. So here first of all we are going to say over here declare a variable. We are going to say $host is equal to, we will give two double quotation, and inside it we are going to say local host. Why local host? Because if you go to our database, here you can see local host is written over here. So that's why localhost. After localhost we will declare another variable. We will say here user is equal to, we will give two double quotation and we will say root, and after user we will say $password, and we are writing this for connecting our Psp project to our database. Equal to, it will be null, password equal to null, and the last one will be, let's say $db is equal to, and if we go to our browser, here you can see that my database name is PHP beginners. So here we need to say my database name, which will be PHP beginners. You need to write it exactly like that database. So after this, all you have to do is you need to declare a variable over here, another variable $data is equal to MySQL I connect, and inside this first bracket we need to mention all those four things that we write just now. So first one is host, so we are going to say over here $host, then give a comma, after it we are going to say $user, then we'll give another comma, then we'll say $password, and the last one was $db, and we will end it with a semicolon. So right now our this index.php is actually connected to our database. So now how we can check it that if we connect this file to our database correctly. So here we are going to give a if condition. If, here you can see a variable called $data, so we are going to say here $data triple equal false, then we are going to say die, and inside it we are going to just say let's say connection error. Let's save it, and let me just refresh over here. Here you can see there is no error. Let me just change this database name over here. Here let's just go with 1 2 3, save it, and if you now refresh, it will give us a error. Let me just zoom in. Here you can see MySQL connect unknown database PSP beginner 1 2 3, which is on line 23. Here you can also see a connection error print out over here as well. So it means it cannot find the PHP beginner 1 2 3 database. But if we just remove it and save it now, and if we refresh, it will not give us any error. So this means we are able to successfully connect this index.php to our database. So this is all about this tutorial. Now in the next tutorial we will see how we can insert data in database in PHP. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, then let me know in the comment section. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned and stay healthy. Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to FP Knowledge. In this tutorial I am going to show you how we can insert data or images to MySQL database in PHP. So first of all, we need to create a table in the database so that we can insert some data in the table. So here you can see this is my localhost phpMyAdmin, and let me just show you the database name, which is this one, PHP beginners. This is our database, and if you click on it, you will see something like this. And in order to create table, all you have to do is that you need to give a name over here. This name will be the table name, and you need to choose the number of column you want in your table. Now in my table we will have, let's say, student ID, then student name, student image, and let's say student phone number. So let's say my table name will be student, and we will have, so number of column will be 4. So now just click go, and here you can see 4 column over here. So here the first name will be ID, and let's say this one will be name, and this one will be image, and this one will be, let's say, phone. And we need to mention the type of those entry. So for ID the type will be integer, and let's say it will be in, okay, let's just click over here null index, and let's also have this auto increment AI. If we click on this, it will be set as primary key. So our ID will be primary key, and let's say for name type will be varchar, and let's say it will be 225, and for image it will be varchar again, and length will be 225, and let's say for phone number it will be integer. And let's also click on this null index button, so we'll be able to upload null data in all those columns. So that will make our work easier. So let me just click over here, save. Then you will see something like this: ID, name, image, and the phone number over here. So now let's go back to our code, and here you can see index.php. Inside this index.php we are going to have some input field so that we can upload all those data to our database. So we are going to say over here, let's say just let's have a div over here, and inside this div we will say align, it will be center, and inside this div we are going to mention a form, and inside this form we will have some input fields. So let's mention another div over here, and inside this div we are going to say here level, and let's say here student name, and we need an input field for the student name. We will say input type will be text, and let's say name is equal to name. Okay, that's fine. Now let me just copy it, and I will paste it, let's say for 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. So after name we will have the student, let's say phone number, let's say student phone. So input type will be number, and name is equal to, let's say, phone, and after phone we will say student image. The type will be, for image the type will be file actually, and here name is equal to let's say image, and this last one will be for submit button. So let me just remove this label. So input type will be submit, and name is equal to, let's say, submit, and let's say value it will be let's say upload data. So if you now save it, and if you now refresh over here, you can see some input field. Let me just zoom in. So some input field over here, you can see student name, student phone, and a student image, choose file option over here, and a upload data button over here. So now we are going to write some PHP code so that we can upload those data to our database. So first of all we need to connect our this index.php to our database, but before that here you can see form. In this form we are going to mention action, then we are going to say here method, and we'll also say enc type. So the enc type will be multipart / form data. Now why we need to mention enc type? Because if we want to upload anything, any kind of file or image to the database, we need to mention this enc type. If you do not mention it, you will get an error. So the method will be post, since we want to post or upload data to the database, and the action. Now inside this action we are going to say over here index.php, because we are going to write the code for uploading all those data in this index.php. And if you want to write those insert code in different file, then you need to mention that file name over here. Since we want to write the PHP code in this index.php, so we are just going to mention it index.php. So you can write that PHP code anywhere in the body. So let me just write over here at the top. So for writing the PHP code, first of all we need to give this PHP, we need to begin the PHP, and we also need to in this like this. So inside this we are going to write our PHP code. So first of all we are going to connect this index.php to the database. So for it, let me just first declare a variable. We are going to say host is equal to, and inside it we are going to say over here local host. And why local host? Because here you can see this is our local host, that's why actually. So after localhost, we are going to say another variable. We are going to say $user equal to, we are going to say inside it root, and we will now declare $password equal to, it will be null, and after password we have the database. So we are going to say $db is equal to, here we need to mention our database name, and here you can see that our database name is PHP beginners. So we are going to say over here PHP beginners, and after this, in order to connect our index.php to the database, all we have to do, we need to mention MySQLi underscore connect, and inside it we need to mention all those variables. So first of all, we'll say here $host, then we are going to say here $user, then it will be $password, and the last one will be $db. So just by writing this line, we are actually connected to our database. And if you want to check it, you can check it as well. Let me just declare a variable over here, $data is equal to this one, and here we are just going to give a if condition. If we are going to say $data triple equal false, then it will give us a error. Let's say here die, and inside this first bracket, let's say connection error. And if we save it now, and if we refresh, we will not see any error over here. But let me just change the DB name over here, and let's refresh the error over here right now. Here you can see that unknown database PSP beginners. So let me just fix it, save it. Okay, so we are able to successfully connect our database. So let me just refresh over here. Okay, so now let's write some code so that we can upload all those input to our student table. So for it, first of all, we are going to give a if condition, and here we are going to say is set, and we'll give another first bracket, and inside it we are going to say $_post, and here we are going to give two third bracket, and we'll give two single quotation. So let me just give over here two second bracket, and inside this two single quotation, we are going to say over here submit. Now where is this submit coming from? Here you can see that we have input type submit, and here you can see name is equal to submit. Here this name name is equal to submit is actually this one. So when someone click this submit button, only then this if condition will execute some code. So after this, we are going to say here, we are going to actually declare a variable. So let's say here let's say s name, it means student name. Let's say you can declare any variable you want, and here we are going to say $_post, and we'll give two third bracket and two single quotation, and inside it if you go down here, you can see name is equal to name. So here we are going to say here name, and it will end with a semicolon. So after name, let me just copy it, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and here after name we'll say here s phone, and here you can see $_post, and here you can see that my student phone, here name is equal to phone, so we are going to say over here phone, and let's save it. Now we are going to write a query so that we can upload those to our database, and we will actually do this image later, but let me just show you how we can upload those two. So here we are going to say here let's just declare a variable. Let's say $query is equal to, we are going to say two double quotation, and inside it we are going to say insert into student, and here this student is our table name actually. If you go to our database, and here let me just zoom in, here you can see our table name is student. So insert into table, and we are going to give two first bracket, and inside this first bracket we need to mention the column name in our student table. If we go to our student table, here you can see we have name, image, and phone number, and also ID. So we are going to upload the name and phone number first. So let me just say over here name, comma, phone. You need to write it exactly like in the database, and after it we are going to say values, and we are going to give another two first bracket, and inside it we are going to give two single quotation, and here you can see that we get the name in this sname variable. So we are going to just say over here $sname, and we are going to give a comma over here, then we'll give another 2 single quotation, and we are going to say over here $s phone. Control V, and it will end with a semicolon. So now let me just go through this again. Here you can see name and phone. So here in the values you need to write the name first and the phone second. If I were to write the phone at the beginning, then here I will also give this sphone variable at the beginning in this value. So this is the query. Now in order to upload this, we need to write just one more line over here. So here let me just declare another variable. We are going to say here result is equal to, we will say MySQLi query underscore query. So MySQLi query, and inside it if you go at the top, here you can see we connect our database using this line, and we store this in this $data variable. So we are going to mention over here $data, then we are going to give a comma, and here you can see the insert query, and we stored this in this query variable. So we are going to say over here $query. So now this line will actually store all the data, this name and phone data, in the student table. So let me just give over here a if condition, and you will say $result. So we are just going to say here if the query is successful, we are going to say echo to single quotation, we are going to say upload success. And if there is no result, then we will go to else condition. We are going to say over here else, and here we are going to say echo let's say not success, and let me just save it, and let's go back to our browser, and let me just refresh over here, and let me just zoom in, and here we are going to say name is equal to Yamin, and we'll say phone number, let's just give a random phone number over here, and here I'll just click this upload data button, and let me just zoom out, and here you can see upload success message over here. So if you now go to our database, and if you now refresh over here, here you can see the name, image is null obviously, and the phone number over here. So now we are going to write some code so that we can upload the image over here as well. So let's go back to our code again. So for uploading image, first of all, as usual, we need to declare a variable over here. We are going to say over here $file is equal to, we are going to say $_files, and we'll give 2 third bracket, and inside it we are going to say image, and this, and let me just give another third bracket, and here we need to mention a name. So here you can see this image, this name is actually coming from here. Here you can see for the student image type file name is equal to image. So after this line we need to mention write 3 more line actually to upload our image. But before writing another line, let me just go back to our project location. Here you can see PHP beginner, my folder name, and here you can see index.php. So in this folder we are going to create a folder over here. Let me just right click over here and just go to this new folder option, and here we are going to say, let's say image. So in this image folder we are going to save all the image. So if you go inside, there is nothing in this image folder. So let's minimize this. So here we are going to declare a variable, let's say DST means destination, and here we are going to say 2 double quotation, and we'll give this slash sign, then we'll give a dot, and we'll give the folder name which was image, and after this quotation we are going to give another dot, and we are going to mention this $file. Let me just paste it over here. Okay, and we also need to give a slash over here. So it means we want to save the file or the image in this image folder which we just created over here. So after this, let me just copy this line, and we are going to write it again, and here we are just going to change the variable name, let's say DST_DB. we are writing this for our database. So we are going to remove this slash and this dot, and we'll have only this slash and this dot file. So after this actually this line won't actually save the image to the folder. For saving this image to this folder, we need to write just one more line. So here we need to say move, then underscore uploaded file, here you can see, and here we need to mention the file name and the destination. and here you can see file is equal to this dollar file image, then this name. So let me just copy it and I'll paste it over here, and instead of name we are going to say over here temp name. It means it will be a temporary name, and here we need to mention the destination, and destination will be this one, $DHT. So we are just going to say over here $DHT. So this line, this online will actually help us to store our image to that folder. So after it, only one thing left, that is this insert query. So let me just say over here, after phone we are going to say here image, and this image name is actually coming from the database. And let me just show you, here you can see image, we need to write it exactly like this, and we need to mention the value over here. We are going to say over here comma, and we'll give two single quotation, and here I already mentioned that we are writing this line for the database. So let me just copy this one and paste it over here. So now let's save it, Ctrl S, and if you now go to our browser and let me just refresh over here, let me just zoom in, and here let me just give a name, let's say Shakil, and let's give a random phone number, and let's also choose a file, and from here let me just choose this one and click open. And now if I click upload data, okay, there is an error. Okay, there's an error. Let me just zoom in and okay, move uploaded file failed to open stream. Okay, I think the mistake is over here. So let me zoom out and let's go back to our code, and here you can see we mentioned $DHT is equal to, here we give the dot over here, we need to give this dot before this slash. So now let's save it and let me refresh over here again, and let's give the name, then let's give the phone number, let's choose the file, let's just choose this one, a random image, and let's click this upload data. So here you can see upload success, and if you now go to our database and if you refresh now, here you can see my name and the image name is like this, and the phone number over here. Let me zoom in. So here you can see, so we are able to successfully upload image to our database. So let me just go back to our folder over here, PSP beginner, and if you go inside this image folder, you will see an image over here which we just uploaded right now. So this is how you can actually upload data or images to MySQL database in PHP. I tried to make this tutorial as easy as possible, but if any of you face any problem, then let me know in the comment section. And if this video was helpful, then don't forget to subscribe this channel and like this video. And thanks again for watching. Stay tuned and stay healthy. Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to Web Knowledge. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how we can display data from database in PHP. So this is actually really simple. So I already have this table over here called student, and I have some data inside this table. You can see some text, a image and a phone number over here. So I'm going to show you how we can show all those data from the table to our PHP view. First of all, let's go back to our code, and here you can see this is our Psp project. Over here you can see Psp beginner. This is the folder name. So first of all, inside this folder we are going to create another file over here, and let's say over here this file name will be display.php. let's save it, Ctrl S, and we are going to save it inside this Psp beginner folder. So save. So first of all, let me just write some basic HTML code. Okay, let's give the title, let's say here display in PHP. So first of all, we need to connect this display.php file to our MySQL database. So for it we need to write some PHP code inside this body. So in order to write some PHP code, we need to start the PHP like this, and after this we need to in the PHP this PHP tag. So we need to give a hot and then this arrow sign, and inside this we need to write some PHP code. So first of all, we need to connect this file to our database. So we are going to say over here $host, pretty simple thing, is equal to, we are going to say here localhost, and after this we are going to say $user is equal to, it will be root, and we are going to say a $password is equal to null, and $db means database, we will give two double quotation, and here you need to give your database name. And let me just show you my database, and here you can see, let me just zoom in, Here you can see PHP beginner. This is my database name. So here we are going to say PHP beginners. We need to write it exactly like in the database. And after that, in order to connect to our database, we need to just write one more line. So let me just declare another variable is equal to, we're going to say here mysql I underscore connect, and inside it we need to mention those variables. So here we are going to first say here $host, comma $user, then comma $password, then the last one will be $db. So once you write this line, you are actually connected to your database. Now if you want to verify if you are connected or not, all you have to do is that give a if condition. Let me just write over here $data, and we'll give double equal, not unequal, double equal true, and inside it we are just going to say here echo, and we'll say connection success. And let me just save it, Control S, and let me just go back to our browser, and here we are going to say display.php, and if you press enter, here you can see connection success. So it means we are able to successfully connect to our database. So let me just remove this if condition. We do not require it because we already is connected to the database. So right now we are going to declare another variable. Let me just say over here $query, and here we are actually write a query so that we can actually get all this data in this query variable. So here first we will give two double quotation, and inside it we are going to say select, then we will say select star form, and we need to mention the table name. And for my case, my table name is here student. Let me just zoom in. Here you can see student. So here I am going to say student. You need to write it exactly like you write in the database. So it means all the student data is actually saved in this $query variable. So right now we need to declare one more variable. We'll say $result is equal to, we are going to say mysqli query, and here you can see that we have this $data variable, and inside this $data variable we connect this file to our database, and we have the select query inside this query variable. So first of all we are going to mention our here $data comma $query. So right now everything will be stored in this $result variable. So now just in order to display all the data we have in the table, all we have to do is that write a while loop, because we have multiple data, so obviously we will require a while loop. Let me just give 2 second bracket over here, and inside this while loop we are going to mention this $result. So let's say here $result, then we are going to give this arrow sign, then we will say fetch underscore ASOC, or I don't know what it actually spell. Okay, so once you have this, it means you have every single entry in this while loop. So we have to store this inside a variable. So let's just say over here $info is equal to this one. So right now in order to display all the data from the database, we just need to write just one more line. We'll say here echo, and then we'll give 2 double quotation, and inside it we are going to say let's say h2 tag, and let me just close this h2 tag as well, and inside it we are going to give 2 second bracket. Here inside this h2 tag you need to give 2 second bracket, and here we are going to mention this $info variable. So let me just say over here $info, then we need to give 2 third bracket, and inside this third bracket we need to give 2 single quotation over here. And here you need to mention which data you want to show from the database. So if I go to my database, here you can see we have name, image, and phone number over here. So let's say you want to show the name. So here you can see our name is written over here like this name. So you need to write it exactly like it. So here we are going to say name, and we also need to end this with a semicolon, and let me just save it. And if you go to our browser and if you just refresh over here, here you can see the name over here. You can see the name Shakil Yami, then Yamin, and the user just like we have in the database. Here you can see. So now let's write some code so that we can also show the image and the phone number as well. So let's go back to our code again, and in order to show the image we need to say over here obviously another echo, and this, and we'll give two double quotation, and let's in the semicolon, and inside it, since we want to show the image, so we need to use the image tag over here. So we'll say image, and inside this image we need to mention the source is equal to, we'll give two double quotation. Oh, okay, actually we cannot give double quotation, we need to give two single quotation because we are actually using the double quotation over here. So inside it we always need to use single quotation. So inside this single quotation, just like before, we need to do the same thing. So we'll give two second bracket first, and here we are going to say $info, and we'll give third bracket and two single quotation, and just like before, inside it we need to mention the variable. I mean we need to mention the column name that we have in the table. So let me just check my table name over here. Here you can see image, and for phone it is phone. So here we are going to say image. So now let me just save it, and if you now refresh over here, we'll see some images over here. Here you can see some images. So let's just change those images height and width. So for it, here inside this image tag we need to say height is equal to, and here we need to give single quotation, not double quotation, and let's say here 150, and let's also say width is equal to 150. So let's save it, and let me refresh here. Okay, you can see the image is right now smaller. Now let's also just show the phone number as well. So let me just copy this one, and let me just paste it just after name, and here instead of name we're going to say here phone. So if you now save it, and if you now refresh, here you can see the name, then the phone number, and then we have the image, name, phone number, image. So this is how you can show all the data from database in PHP. So I try to explain as much as possible and try to make this tutorial as easy as possible. So I hope this tutorial was useful to you. So if you like this video, then please consider to subscribe this channel and like this video, and if you face any problem, then comment below. I'll try to give you the post easiest and the proper solution. And thanks again for watching. Stay tuned and stay healthy. Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to Web Knowledge. In the previous tutorial, we saw how you can show data from database in PHP. So here you can see some data over here, and this data came from a table from here. Let me just zoom in over here. Here you can see our table name was student, and we have some column over here called name, image, and the phone number over here. So we showed all those data over here. So now what we want is that we want to show all those data in a table so that it looks proper. So for it, let's go back to our code, and let me just go through the code again before we create the table. So here you can see that we write a 5 line of code over here, and here we actually declare some variable, and we have inside those variable we have localhost, user equal to root, password null, and inside this $d variable we have the database name, and here we declare another variable called $data is equal to MySQL connect. Then we declare all those variable over here. So after writing this 5 line of code, we are able to connect to our database. So after this we write a variable called $query is equal to, we write a query over here. So it means we say it over here, select star from student. It means we have all the student data stored in this $query variable. And after that we declare another variable called $result is equal to MySQL underscore query. Then inside the first bracket we say $data, which is this one, and then we say $query, which is this one. So after that we mention a while loop over here, and inside this while loop we declare a variable called $info is equal to $result fetch assoc. This $result is actually this one, and we echo all the data we have in the database. Here you can see $info. Inside this echo we say $info, then we say name, and after that we have the phone number, and here we also printed the image as well. Here you can see source is equal to $info image. So this was the whole code, and this is the result of that code that we are able to solve the data. So let me just create a table over here right now. The thing is, we cannot write HTML tag inside PHP code. So here you can see our PHP code started over here and it ended over here. So here actually we need to write the table tag over here. So what we will do is that we will close this PHP over here. So let me just close it over here. We are going to give this question mark and this arrow sign. So this tag will be closed. But the thing is, we have a closing PHP tag over here. So we need to start the PHP tag over here. So right now the PHP code started over here, then ended over here, and the PHP code again started over here and it ended over here. And here you can see in between them there is some space over here. We can actually write our HTML tag over here. So here we are going to say here table, and let me just copy this closing table part and we'll paste it after this part, closing PHP part. So now after this table tag we are going to say tr. Tr means table row, and inside this table row we are going to say th. So let me just close this as well, and let me also copy it and I'll paste it 2 times, on and 2. So here first we are going to say over here name, then we will say phone, let's say phone number, and let's say this one will be image. So let's say here student image. So if we save it now and if we refresh over here, if we go down here, you can see name, phone number and student image. Don't worry, when we write the whole code it won't look like this. So the table header is done. Now we need to write some code over here. So right now we need to write a tier tag over here, but the thing is our PHP started over here and it ended over here. So right now we will end this PHP tag over here, and now we will be able to write the HTML code over here, but we also need to have a starting PHP for this as well. So let me just also write a Psp opening tag for this. So we are going to say over here this arrow sign, then we are going to say question mark PHP. So right now we will be able to write the tr tag over here. So let me just say over here tr, which open over here, and we need to close this tr tag over here. So for it we need to close this PHP tag over here. So we are going to say this question mark, then this arrow sign, and here we are going to close the tr tag, and then we will again start the PHP tag for this one. So we are going to say over here PHP. So right now everything is set. Now all we have to do is that we need to mention td tag over here. So we are going to remove this h2 tag from here. We are going to say here td opening and td closing. Again we are going to say here for this phone number we are going to say here td, and here we are going to say td, and here you can see the image tag over here. So before this image tag we are going to mention a td tag. So we will say td opening and this td will close over here. So now if we save it and if we now refresh, so now you can see that everything looks like that it is in a table. So but the table doesn't have any border. So let me just write over here in this table tag we are going to say border equal to, let's say, on px, and let's refresh. So here you can see it's look like a table right now. So you can also say over here align equal to center, save it and let's refresh. So it's now in the middle. So this is how you can show data from database in PHP in a table. So I hope this video was helpful. I tried to make this tutorial as easy as possible, and I will also give the source code in the comment so that you can just copy it out. So thank you very much for watching, and if you have any problem then let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe this channel if this video was helpful. So stay tuned and stay healthy. Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to Tech Knowledge. In this tutorial I am going to show you how you can delete data in PHP. So here you can see some data over here that we showed from the database using PHP. So we are going to have a delete option over here so that we can delete a certain data from here. So let's go back to our code, and here you can see at the top we have our table header. So first of all, let me just have a delete option in the header. So we are going to say over here delete, and if you save it now, and if I just refresh over here you can see a delete option over here. So now let's have a delete button for each of the data. So for it, here you can see we have a while loop over here, and inside this while loop we are going to say let's say over here echo, and we will give two double quotation and end it with a semicolon, and inside this echo we are going to say here td, and let's also close this td as well, and inside this td we are going to mention an anchor tag, and let's also close the anchor tag. So inside this anchor tag we are going to say delete. So if you now save it, and if you now refresh over here you can see delete option over here. Now let's make this delete option clickable. So for it, here in this anchor tag we are going to say href, and we'll give href equal, we'll give two single quotation, not double quotation, we have to give single quotation. Then here we are going to say delete dot php. So if you save it now, and if you now refresh, here you can see that delete button is now clickable. If I take my cursor over here, you can see it turns into a hand, and here you can see on the left corner over here, if I take my cursor over here in the delete, you can see something appear over here, delete.php. But what we want is that if we take our cursor over here, it should show this data's id. So for it, all you have to do is that here you can see delete, we are going to give a question mark sign over here after this php, and then we are going to say over here id is equal to, here you can see we get the data from the database over here by writing it like this. Here you can see inside this second bracket we write $info. Here you can see we write over here $info is equal to something, then here inside the second bracket we say $info, then we say name. It means we are able to get the name over here, then we are also able to get the phone number and the image. So here what we are going to do is that we are going to give over here two second bracket, and inside it we are going to say $info, then we will give two third bracket, and inside this third bracket we are going to give two single quotation, and we will say id. So what we want is that we want to get the id inside this id, because id, if we go to our database, here you can see id will be always a unique. Let me just zoom in. The value of id will be always unique, so we should get the id in order to delete the data. So here we are going to say id is equal to $info id. So if you now save it, and if you now refresh over here, okay, now if I take my cursor on a delete button over here, you can see on the left corner you will see id value over here. Here you can see 7. If I just notice over here on the left side corner, if I take my cursor over here, here you can see 9, here you can see now 10, and if I go at the top, here you can see 6. So we are able to get the id over here successfully. So now what we want, if someone click this delete button, we want this data to be deleted. So for it, let's go back to our code, and here you can see we mentioned delete.php. Now we do not have this delete.php file, so we need to create this file. So here you can see this our folder Psp beginner. So inside this folder we are going to create this delete.php file. So let me just right click over here inside on this folder, then click new file, and here we are going to say delete.php. let's save it, Ctrl S and save. So right now we have our delete.php. So first of all, in this delete.php we need to connect this delete.php to our database. So let me just copy some code from our delete.php. So here you can see $host is equal to localhost user password $db, and here we connect this page to our database. So let me just copy this one, and here since those are actually PHP code, so we need to give this arrow sign, then we'll give this question mark, then we'll say PHP, then we need to in this as well. So inside this we are going to say paste all the code. So here you can see that using those line we are able to connect to our database. So right now what we want to get is that is to get the ID from here. So here we are actually calling the delete.php and we are actually sending the ID from here as well. So we need to get that ID. So first of all we are going to declare a variable. Let's say here $id. You can declare any variable you want. Let's just say our here s underscore id is equal to, we are going to say dollar underscore, we are going to say over here get, and we'll give 2 third bracket and 2 single quotation, and inside it we are going to mention this id. Here we write id over here, you can see. So we are going to write over here id. So right now we are going to write a query over here. So for it, first of all, we need to declare a variable. So we'll say dollar query is equal to, we are going to give 2 double quotation, and inside it we are going to write our query. So we are going to say over here delete from, it will be then we need to mention our table name, which was student. Then we are going to say where, then we need to mention the id over here. So here you can see that my table name is student, and we want to delete the data by id because id will be always unique. So here we said id is equal to, we are going to give 2 single quotation, not double quotation. If we give double quotation it will give us an error. So we'll give 2 single quotation, and here you saw that we declare a variable called s underscore id, and inside this s underscore id we have this id over here. So we are going to say over here dollar s underscore id. So right now this query will help us to delete the specific data. So in order to delete it, we just need to write one more line. So let me just declare another variable. We'll say dollar result is equal to, we need to say mysqli underscore query, this time query, and inside it here we connect this delete.php to our database, and we have this in this dollar data variable. So we are going to say over here dollar data, and here we write our query over here. So after dollar data we are going to give a comma, and we'll say dollar query. So right now just by executing all those lines we'll be able to delete the data. So let me just also show that if the data deleted is successful or not. So we are going to give a if condition, and we are going to say our here dollar result, and we are going to give 2 second bracket, and let's just say here echo, let's say here delete successful. And if there is some problem deleting, then we'll go to else condition. We'll say over here echo data not deleted. So now let's save it, and let me just go back to our browser and let's refresh over here. And now let's say we want to delete this first one. So if we now click this delete button, here you can see a message over here that data delete successful. So let's just go back and let's try to delete another. Okay, let's just refresh over here. You can see that thing is gone. So if you now refresh over here, you can see that id 6 and name is equal to Shakil. If we now refresh, this one will be gone. Here you can see there is no that certain id with 6. So let's delete another one. Let's delete this one. If I click this one, here you can see delete successful. So let's go back and let me just refresh over here. Here you can see only 3 data over here, and if you now refresh over here as well, you will see only 3 data over here. So this is how you can delete data in PHP. So I tried to make this tutorial as easy as possible, but if you face any problem, then let me know in the comment section. And if you like this video, then please don't forget to subscribe this channel. And thanks again for watching. Stay tuned and stay healthy. Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to Php Knowledge. In this tutorial I am going to show you how we can update data in PHP. This is actually really simple and easy. So here you can see the header for delete. So we are going to make a header for update as well. So let's go back to our code, and over here you can see that all the header name over here, you can see name, phone number, student, image, and the delete header. So let me just copy this on, and I'll just paste it over here, Control V, and here I'm just going to say update. And if you now save it, and if you now refresh over here, here you can see one more extra column over here. Here you can see update. So right now we also want a button like this, delete, over here as well for update. So let's go back to our code, and if we go down over here, you can see that our delete button over here. So we are going to do the same for update button as well. So let me just say over here echo, and we are going to give two double quotation and a semicolon at the end, and inside it we are going to say td, and we will also need to close the td, and inside this td we are going to write a anchor tag. So the anchor tag opening and the anchor tag closing. So inside this anchor tag we are going to say update. Let me just write it a little bit different. So right now if you now save it, and if you now refresh over here, here we can see a update text over here. So what we want to be able to click this update button. So for it, here inside this anchor tag we are going to say here href is equal to, we are going to name a PHP file over here. So we are going to say, let's say here update.php. okay, we need to give single quotation over here. If we give double quotation, it will give us an error. So now if we save it, and if we now refresh over here, here you can see we will be able to right now click this update option. Here you can see if I take my cursor over here, it turn into a hand. And also please notice on the left side down corner over here, if I take my cursor over here, you can see some text over here, PHP beginner / update.php. So what I want, if we take our cursor to this update button, it should show us this data's ID, specific data ID. So for it, all we have to do is that we need to give a question mark over here. Then we are going to say over here ID. You can say anything over here. So we'll say ID is equal to, now ID equal, we're going to give 2-second bracket, and here we're going to say $info, and we'll give 2 third bracket and 2 single quotation, and we'll say ID. Now where is this ID coming from? Now this ID is actually coming from the data, the table. So if you go to our table, here you can see my student table over here, and here you can see ID. So this ID is actually this one. And you might be confused, why is this $info coming from? Here you can see that we write in the while loop $info is equal to result fetch assoc. Now inside this result variable we actually have all the data. Here you can see we use this $info to show our name, the phone number, and the image as well. So in order to get the ID, we also need to do the same. So here if you now save it, and if you now refresh over here, and if I now take our cursor to over here, please notice at the left corner, down corner, here you can see ID is equal to 9, and if I take my cursor over here, you can see ID is equal to 11, and here you can see ID is equal to 7. So we are actually getting the specific ID for a specific data. So right now here we mention update.php over here, a PHP file, but we do not have this update.php file, so we need to create it. So here I am just going to create update.php file. So here you can see my folder name is Psp beginner. So inside this folder we are going to say click new file, and here we are going to say update.php. So if you now save it, Ctrl S and save, and here let's just write a simple HTML over here, and let's say over here update page. Okay, let's just keep inside this body a h1 tag, and here we are going to say update just for now. So let's save it, and let's refresh again. And now if we just click any update button over here, if you just click it, here you can see it took us to this update page. Why? Because in the display.php we mentioned in the anchor tag we mentioned update.php. So if someone click this update button, it will take us to this update.php page. So we do not require, okay, let's just keep this h1 tag. Let's just say over here update data. So first of all, what we want is that if someone click this update button, we want to get all the data that we have over here to that update page. Right, so first of all, we need to connect this update.php page to our database. So we will go to our display.php, and here you can see over here we connect to our database. So let me just copy this 5 line of code. Here you can see $host is equal to localhost, user equal to root, password is equal to null, and $dp is equal to Psp beginner, which is our database name. And here we write one more line, mysql underscore connect, to connect this display.php to our database. So we are going to do the same thing in the update.php. So now in order to write the PSP code, we need to give this PSP tag opening, and we need to PSP closing, and inside it we are just going to paste that code. So here you can see host is equal to localhost, user is equal to root, password is equal to null, the database name, and here we connect this update.php page to our database. So now if we now go to our display.php, here you can see in this update button we send the id is equal to $info id. So we need to get this id in our update.php. So for it, all we have to do is that we need to declare a variable. So let's just declare any variable. Let's just say over here s underscore id is equal to, you can declare any variable you want. I just declare s underscore id. So here we need to give a $sign, we'll give a underscore, then we are going to say here get, then inside this third bracket we need to mention the id. Now this id is actually this one. So now if we now let's save it, and if you now say over here echo, and if you give two double quotation and inside it you try to print this one, you will see the id. So let me just save it over here and let's just refresh. And if I now here just notice that our id value is 9. So if I click this update button, here you can see the id value is 9. So we are able to get the id successfully over here. So what we want is that we want to show the data of the specific id. So here you can see that for our id 9 we have the names Shakil Ahmed and the image and the phone number over here as well. So we want to show them over here. So for it, first of all we need to get all those data. So for it we need to write a SQL or query over here. So we record to declare another variable. So we'll say $SQL is equal to, we'll give two double quotation, and inside it we are going to say select from student. Student is actually our table name. Let me just show you. Let me just go over here to my database, zoom in. Over here you can see our table name is student. So after student we need to say over here where, and we'll say id. This id is actually coming from the database. Over here you can see id. So this id actually this one is equal to, here we mention a variable $sid. So we are going to give two single quotation, and inside it we are going to give $s underscore id, and we also need to mention over here star. Select star from student where id is equal to $sid. So right now inside this $SQL variable we have all the data for the specific id. So right now we need to write two more line of code. So here we are going to declare a variable let's say result. You can declare any variable. Let's go with result equal to, we are going to say mysqli underscore, we are going to say query, and we'll give two first bracket and we'll end it with a semicolon. Now inside this first bracket we need to mention this $data variable. Here you can see inside this $data variable we connect this update.php to our database. So first of all we are going to say over here $data, then we'll give a comma, and here you can see we write a query over here and we store this inside this $SQL variable. So we are going to say over here $SQL. So after this we need to declare another variable. You can declare anything. Let's just stick with info. So $info is equal to, we are going to mention this $result variable that we declare over here. So we'll say $result, then we'll give this arrow sign, then we'll say over here fetch assoc, and two first bracket. So since it's a single data, so we are writing it like this: $info is equal to something. If it were multiple data, then we would require to use a loop or while loop. Since it's a single data, so we do not require to use any loop over here. So after this, once you write this line, you will be able to get the specific data for that specific ID. Let me just say over here echo, then we'll give two first bracket, and over here let me just zoom in, and here you can see ID, name, image and phone number over here. So here you can see for ID 9 we have our name is Shakil Ahmed, and we have this phone number and this image. So if we just say over here, we'll give two second bracket, and we'll say over here $info, and we'll give two third bracket and we'll do single quotation, and inside it if we just say name, if you save it and if you just refresh over here, you can see the specific name over here. Just like this, we can also print the phone number and the image. Let me just show you over here. Let's also print the phone number as well and the image as well. We'll say over here phone, and for image we need to write it a little bit different. Here we need to say over here use image tag for image. So inside this image tag we are going to say source is equal to we need to give two single quotation. If you give double quotation, it will give us an error. So let me just copy this line, Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and instead of phone we are going to say over here image. So if you now save it, Ctrl S, and if you now refresh over here, so here you can see the image, and at the left down corner here you can see the name and the phone number as well. Let me just resize this image so that you can see it properly. Inside this image tag we are going to say let's say height is equal to, let's say 200, and width is equal to 200. Save it and let's refresh again. So here you can see the image and the name and phone number text over here properly. So what we want is that we want to show all those text in a input field so that we can update those. So for it let me just comment those out. I'll click Ctrl Shift and the slash sign. So here you can see those thing is now comment out. So right now we want to create a input field, and since creating input field we need to write some HTML code. So we need to close this PSP tag over here. So let's close it over here, and for this closing PSP tag we will write another PSP tag over here. I mean the starting we'll say PHP. Okay, so you can see that there is some gap in between them where we can write our HTML code. So here inside it we are going to mention a form. We'll say form, and inside this form we are going to have our HTML code, or I mean the input field. So let me just declare a div over here, and inside this div we'll have our label. Let's say label is equal to let's say over here name, and we require input field. So we'll say input type will be text, and name is equal to, let's say name, and here we also require value because okay, let me we'll write the value code a little bit later. Let me just create the basic structure. Okay, let me just copy this one, Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and over here instead of name we are going to say over here phone number, and input type will be number, and name is equal to phone. So if you now save it and if you now refresh over here, you can see two input field, name and the phone number over here you can see. So now we want to show the specific name and the phone number over here. So for it, here you can see that we write some code over here to show the name. Basically we need to write the exact same thing inside this value. So here since those are PHP code, so we need to give a Psp opening and closing over here. So we say PHP, and we need to close this on. Let me just show it like this. So here we are going to say this same thing actually, echo $info name. So let me just copy this on, Ctrl C and Ctrl V. So here you can see echo $info name. So it will get the specific name for that specific ID. So now if you save it and if you now refresh, so here you can see the name over here. Let's also do the same for the phone number as well. So here let me just copy this line, Control C, and I'll paste it inside this value, and instead of name we are going to say here phone. Save it, and if you now refresh, here you can see the phone number over here as well. And now we want to show the image over here. So in order to show the image, let me just copy this one, Control C, Control V. So first of all, we want to show the image, not changing or editing anything. So here we are going to say over here old image, so because that's the old image if you want to update it. So in order to show image, we cannot use input field, we need to use image tag, and inside this source we need to mention our image source. So let me just copy this line again, Control C, and we'll paste it over here inside this source, and instead of phone we are going to say over here image. So if you now save it, okay, let's also give the height and width. So let's say height over here, let's say 150, and let's say width it will be 150 as well. So save it now, and if you now refresh, so here you can see the name, the phone number, and the old image over here. So right now we want the input fields, another input field, so that we can change the image. So here let me just copy this div, Control C, and here we are going to paste it over here. So here we are going to say change image, and we are going to remove this value from here, and here name is equal to, let's say it will be image, and the type will be file, because we want to upload a image, so the type will be obviously file. And let me just copy this on, paste it over here, and the last one will be our submit button. So input type will be submit. So we also need require a name, let's say over here update, and let's say over here value will be update, let's say update data. Save it, and if you now refresh, so here you can see change image over here, change image, choose file over here, and here you can see also update data button over here. So let's go back to our code, and here we write this inside a form, you can see. So inside this form we need to mention action, we also need to mention method, and we also need to mention enc type. Inside this enc type we will say multipart slash form data. And now why we require to use enc type, because we want to upload image from here. So since we want to upload image from here, so we need to give enc type is equal to multipart form data. If you do not give this multipart form data, then it will give you an error. So over here the method, it will be post, and inside this action, let's say over here update underscore, we'll say data dot php. So inside this update underscore data dot php, in this file we are going to write some query to update all those data. So in this update.php we actually got all the data, I mean the name, the phone number, and we also have input field for changing image. So in this update underscore data we'll write some queries so that we can update data. So right now let's create this update underscore data. So let me just right click over here, then I'll click new file, and over here I'm going to say update underscore data dot php. Let's save it, Control S, and save. Now inside this update underscore data we require to write some PHP code. So we'll say over here PHP opening and PHP closing, and inside it we'll write some PHP. So first of all we require to connect this update underscore data to our database. So let me just copy this 5 line over here, Control C and Control V. I already explained how we connect to our database using those lines. So here you can see Mysql underscore connect, and over here we mention inside those variable localhost root, the password null, and our database name. So right now The first thing we are going to do is that we are going to give a if condition, and inside this if condition we are going to say over here is set, and we'll give two first bracket, we'll give a $_post, and we'll say two third bracket and two single quotation, and inside it we are going to say update. Now where is this update coming from? Here in the update.php, in the submit button we mention name is equal to update. So this update is actually this one. So it means if someone click the update button, then only come over here. So here we require to get all the input over here. All the input means over here in the update.php we write the name, the phone number, and the old image, change image over here. So we require to get those data. So for it, in this if condition we are going to give a variable, declare a variable. You can declare any variable. Let's just go with s_name is equal to, we are going to say over here $_, we'll say post, and we'll give two third bracket, and inside it we are going to say name. And we also require to get the phone number as well. So we are going to say over here, let's say s_phone is equal to s_post, and here we are going to say over here phone. And here you can see this name and this phone is actually coming from over here. You can see name is equal to name and name is equal to phone. So we actually require to get one more data, that is the ID for this specific name and the phone number. But in the update.php we did not mention the ID over here. So let me just copy it over here and paste it over here. And here we do not require the level over here. So let me just remove this one, and here we are going to say name is equal to ID, and here we are going to say $info ID. So if you now save it and let me just refresh over here, here you can see ID over here. But obviously we do not want to change the ID, or we also do not want to show the ID. So all we are going to do is that in this input field we are just going to say over here hidden. So if you now save it and if you now refresh over here, here you can see the ID is not here. You cannot see it over here, but we will be able to get the ID to our update_php. So here let me just copy this line, Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. So here we will say over here in the post we'll say ID, and here we will also say s_id. So here you can see this ID coming from over here. You can see the name is equal to ID, and in the value we have the ID. Now we also require to get the image. So for image we actually need to write it a little bit different. So over here let me just say over here $file is equal to, we'll say $_, we'll say file, and we'll give third bracket, and inside this third bracket we are going to say image, and we'll give another third bracket, and here we are going to say name. Now we require to give this name over here, and here you can see this image, this name is actually coming from the update.php. So here you can see after the old image we have our input type file and name is equal to image. So this old image is actually for showing the old image, that's all. And over here if you want to change the image we require to change it from here, and here you can see name is equal to image. So this is image actually this one, and after this we need to mention that where we want to save that updated image. Now in the insert tutorial we store all the images in our image folder. Let me just show you. Here you can see that we stored the image in our image folder. So we are going to do the same for update as well. So here first of all we are going to declare a variable $dst. You can declare any variable. Let's say dst means destination is equal to, we'll give two double quotation, and inside it we'll give a dot and we'll give two double slash, and we're going to mention the folder name which was image. Let me just show you the folder over here. Let me just zoom in. Here you can see the a folder over here, and if I click this folder you can see a lot of image over here. And after this double quotation we require to write dot and we'll say file, and this dollar file is actually this one. So right now we need to write a similar line of code. Now this line will actually we write this line to store the file in this dollar image folder. So in order to store the image to the database, we need to write it a little bit differently. Let's say dollar $tst_db, and then we are going to say image slash dot file. So we write this in order to store the image name in our table. So after this we are going to say over here move uploaded underscore file, and we'll give two first bracket. And here you can see that we mention over here in the dollar file variable, we say dollar file image and name. Let me just copy this one and I'll paste it over here, and then I'll give a comma, and over here we're going to mention this $dst variable. Control C, Control V, and here you can see the name. So instead of name we're going to say over here tmp underscore name. So over here you can see we are able to get the ID, name, phone, and the image over here as well. So in order to update the data, right now we require to write a SQL over here, or you can say query. So let's declare a variable over here. Let's say over here SQL is equal to, we are going to give two double quotation and end it with a semicolon, and inside this we are going to say update, then we'll say our database table name which is student, then we'll say set, and here we are going to say name is equal to, we'll give two single quotation. Now here you can see name is equal to something. Here this name is actually coming from the database. Here you can see we have the name, image, and the phone number column over here. So this name actually coming from the database. So name is equal to, here you can see we got the name in this $s_name variable. So let me just copy it and I'll paste it over here. So name is equal to $s_name. Then we require to give a comma over here. We'll give a comma. So after name we need to write our phone number. So let me just copy it and paste over here. So here it will be phone is equal to s_phone, and after phone we'll write our image name. So here we are going to say image equal to, we'll give two single quotation, and here you can see that we write this line in order to save our image to our table. So we are going to say $tst_db, and now we need to mention the ID. So we say where, and we actually need to mention the ID to for which ID we want to update the data. So we will say over here where ID is equal to, here we are going to say over here s_id. So this is the query for update. So right now we'll declare a variable. Let's say result is equal to, we are going to say my SQLi query, and here we need to mention that database connection over here. So here at the top you saw that in this $data variable we connect to our database. So we are going to say over here $data, then we'll give a comma, and here you can see that we write this query in this $SQL variable. So we are going to say over here $SQL. So after executing this line, the data will be updated in the table. So right now we'll just give a if condition. We'll say if $result, and we'll give two second bracket. We'll say echo. If the update is successful, then it will it means if there is any result, then it will come to this if condition. So we'll say here update success, save it, and we'll also give a else condition, and here we'll say echo, and we'll say update failed. So now let's save it, Ctrl S, and let me just refresh over here, and let's say over here the phone number will be like this, and let's say the name will be just Ahmed, and let's also choose the image. Let's just choose a random image. Okay, let's just choose this one. Let's click open. Let me just zoom in. So over here you can see the name, the phone number and image like this. So if I just click update data, here you can see some. Okay, you can see the update success message over here, and you can see that the error is in the line 20. Okay, undefined variable $file. Okay, I think I got the error. The error is actually we required to give a s over here. It will be $_files, and over this line over here it will also be $_files. So if you now save it, Control S, and let me just refresh to our database. Let me check. So here you can see that the image folder is empty. So let me just go to my display.php. Here you can see that everything is updated. Actually you can see the name is updated, phone number is updated, but the image is empty. So let me just update it again. So here let me just choose an image. Let's choose this one. Let's click open. So here you can see untitled design.png. So if I click update data, there shouldn't be an error. So here you can see update success. So if we now go to database and refresh over here, here you can see the image name over here, untitled design.png. So let's go to my display.php, and here you can see the updated image over here. Now let me just show you on one more thing, that is let's say over here we only want to update the name and the phone number, but we do not want to update the image. We want to actually keep the same image. So if we now click update data, since the file was empty, change file was empty, so the image will be empty as well. So if you go to database and if you refresh over here, you can see there is no image over here. And if you go to our display.php actually, and here you can see there is no image. But what we want is that if the user do not change the image, we want to keep the old image. Actually just pause the video and think it for like 30 seconds or 1 minute, that if the user do not give the image, how can we keep the old image? Okay, now let me just show you. For it, all we have to do is that so here you can see that we write our update SQL over here, and we write over here image is equal to $tst_db. So we'll only execute this query if there is any image. So how can we do it? So for it we require to give a if condition, and here you can see $file. We are trying to get the image inside this $image $file variable. So here we are going to say over here $file, and we'll give 2 second bracket, and let me just in the second bracket over here. So right now what will happen is that if there is any file or image, then only then it will execute this line, execute this query. So right now we'll give a else condition, else we'll say over here the same query over here, Control C and Control V, but this query will be a little bit different than before, and that is here you can see that we write image is equal to $tst_db, but we are going to remove this $tst_db from here. So what will happen is that if there is no image, it means if the user do not give any image in this choose file, then it will it means there is no file. So it will go to this else condition, and it will only update the name and the phone number without updating the image, because there is no image over here. That's why. So let me just go to my display.php. Actually let's go to my display.php, and here you can see we have an image. Now if you click this update button, and let's say over here let's change the phone number only, and we will not give any image over here. So if I now just click this update data, it will keep the old image. Here you can see the message update success. So if I now go to my display.php, here you can see the image is still over here. Okay, let me just update it for this one as well. Let me just say over here kitten, and let's say phone number will be 01010. Okay, now click update data, and let's go to my update display page. So here you can see the text is over here. The text is changed, but the image is just like before. And if you want to also update the image, you can also do it as well. Let me do it for this one, because the image is empty over here. Let me choose this wood image, click open, and click update data. Here you can see update success. So let's go to my display page. So here you can see the wood image over here, and if you refresh over here, let me just zoom in over here, and then if I just refresh, here you can see that the image name over here changed as well. So this is how you can update data in PHP. So I tried to make this tutorial as easy as possible, and I tried to explain as much as possible. That is why this tutorial became a little bit long, but I hope everything is clear to you. You understand everything. But if you still have some problem, then let me know in the comment section. And if you like this video, or if this video is helpful to you, then please let me know as well in the comment section, and I'll really appreciate if you subscribe this channel. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned and stay healthy. Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to Php Knowledge. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can make search in PHP. So here you can see some data over here that we display using PHP. So I'm going to create a search option at the top so that we can search some data. So let's go back to our code, and here you can see a table header over here. So just so over here we are going to have a form, and inside this form we are going to have a input type. Input type will be text, and let's say name is equal to, let's say, search underscore text. And after this input type we are going to mention another input type which will be submit. So let's say name equal to search, and over here let's say we also say value, it will be let's say search something. So now okay, let's also have this form and in the center. So let's say over here align equal to center. If we now save it, and if you now refresh over here, so here you can see we have the input field over here and the search button over here. Let's just create a gap over here. So let me just say over here PR, save it and refresh. Okay, now there is some gap. Now how to on that if someone writes something over here and click this or search button, then it will show us that specific data. So for it in this form we need to mention over here action and a method. The method will be get, since we want to get data from the database, and the action we want to write the SQL for search in this display.php file. So we'll say over here display.php. So right now we require to write some query or SQL in this display.php in order to show some certain search. So for it here you can see the PHP over here. We connected this display.php to our database. Here you can see Mysql connect, and we say $data is equal to something. So here we are going to say over here if, and we'll give a first bracket, and inside it we are going to say is set, and inside this is set we'll say dollar underscore, we'll say get, and here you can see a variable name over here. So here you can see that in this input type submit we said over here name is equal to search. So we are going to say over here search. So let's give 2 second bracket. So it means if someone press this search button, search something button, then it will execute some code inside this if condition. So first of all, inside this if condition we need to get the search text from here. So here let me just declare a variable. Let's say over here dollar text is equal to, we are going to say dollar underscore get, and here we are going to mention this. Here you can see name is equal to search underscore text. So we are going to say over here search underscore text. So right now we will be able to get the search text over here. So right now all we have to do is that write a SQL over here. We'll say $SQL is equal to we'll give two double quotation and we'll say over here select, then star form, we'll say our table name which is student, then we're going to say over here where, and here let me just show you my table. If I go to my database, over here you can see that my table name is student, and here you can see name, image and phone number. So let's say we want to search the user by name. So for it we got to write over here name just like we write in the database. So after name we need to say over here like, and right now we will give two single quotation, and inside it we are going to give 2% over here, and inside this percentage we'll give actually two double quotation, and we'll give two dot, and inside this two dot we are going to mention this dollar text. So we'll say over here dollar text. So what we are doing is that we are getting the search text, and we are saying over here in this SQL select star from student where name like this certain text. So right now we are going to declare another variable, and here we need to declare result. Dollar result is equal to, we are going to say my SQLi query, we'll give two first bracket, and here if I go at the top, here you can see dollar data, and over here we actually connect our database and we store it inside this dollar data. So what we are going to do is that we are going to mention over here dollar data, then we'll give a comma, and here we write the SQL for search over here. So we are going to say over here dollar SQL, which is this one. And right now just let me mention one more thing is that we need to declare this variable as dollar result, because in order to show all the data over here we write a query over here select star from student, and here we declare a variable called dollar result is equal to mysqli underscore query over here. And if you go down here you can see we write a while loop, and inside this while loop we write dollar result fetch assoc. So using this actually we are showing all the name, phone number and the images over here. So that is why we require to give the dollar result the same variable over here as well. But if you want to give different variable you can do it as well. Then you would require to create a different PSP file and give that PSP file name in the action.php, and basically you have to copy the same code. All you have to do is that you have to change this variable to whatever you give. So that will be actually more complicated, so it will be better to keep it as simple as possible. So we'll declare over here dollar result just because we have dollar result over here. So now if we now just save it, Ctrl S. So let's go back to our browser and let's just refresh over here. So here you can see all the data, and let me just say over here you can see the name is Yummy. So let's just say over here Yummy, and if you press enter, okay, there is no data. I think I made a mistake over here. Okay, there is a gap over here. We cannot have gap over here and here as well. So let me just show you it online. You cannot have any gap over here. So now if you just save it, and let me just write over here this one and search again. So here you can see that image. If I say over here kit and press enter, here you can see this image, and if I press search something without giving anything, it will show us all the data. Now let's say you want to search data by name and by also phone number as well. That is also really simple. All you have to do is that you have to give a first bracket over here, and the first bracket will end over here. Now let me just copy this one, Ctrl C, and right now we'll say over here or, then we're going to paste that part, and here instead of name over here let's say we want to search it by phone, so we'll say over here phone. So if you now go to my database, here you can see my phone, I write phone over here like this. So you need to write it exactly in the code. So right now if I now refresh over here, and here you can see phone number is equal to 0. If I write over here 0, And here you can see we also have 0 over here as well. If I press this one, here you can see two data over here, and here you can also search it by name as well. Here you can see something like this. So this is how we can make search in PHP. I hope this tutorial was easy and I was able to teach you how you can make search in PHP. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any problem, then let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe. So stay tuned and stay healthy. Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to Eptech Knowledge. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create login and registration in PHP. I'll try to make this tutorial as simple and easy as possible. I'll try my best, and if you like this video, then please let me know in the comment section how much you like it. So let's get started. First of all, we'll go to our folder, then we'll go to our local disk C, then we'll go to our XAMPP. And inside XAMPP, we have htdocs. So inside this htdocs, we need to create our folder. So I'll just right click over here, then click new, then folder, and over here, let's say here PHP tutorial. So in this PHP tutorial folder, we are going to create our login registration page. So I'm going to open this PHP tutorial folder using Sublime Text. You can use any text editor you want. You can use Visual Studio Code or Notepad++, anything. So right now we'll click over here, file, then open folder. Then we'll go to local disk C, XAMPP, then htdocs, and inside htdocs here you can see PHP tutorial folder which we just created right now. Then I click select folder. So here you can see PHP tutorial folder over here. So let me just cut the previous one. So here we are going to create three files. One will be register.php, login.php, and home.php. So let's go and create those files. So I'll just right click over here, then click new file. So first of all, let's create register.php. So let's say register.php, then Control S, then save. So after this, we'll create another file and it will be login.php, Control S, save. And the last one will be home.php. So after login, so when the user login, then it will take the user to home.php. So let's say here home.php, Control S, save. So here first of all we are going to make some design for register.php and login.php. So let's get started. So let me just say over here HTML. Now this is just normal HTML code. So inside this body, let's say here h1, let's say register, and in the title let's say register page. Now how we can run this register.php in our browser? So for it, first of all, you obviously need to have your XAMPP running. Here you can see Apache and Mysql. You need to have those two running. So right now, let's go back to our browser, and inside this browser, we are going to say 127.0.0.on, then clone 8080, which is my port number. If you go to your XAMPP, you will see the port number here, 8080. So we are going to use this port number. Then we'll give slash, and here we are going to write our folder name, which was PSP tutorial. You need to write it exactly like that. Then we'll mention register.php, register.php. So this register.php is this one, and here you can see the folder name PSP tutorial. So if you now press enter, so here you can see the register text which we just write over here. So right now we're going to make some input field so that the user can register. So in order to create the input field, we'll write form tag, and inside this form we are going to have some input fields. So let me just declare a div over here, and inside this div first we are going to say level will be name, and after name, for this name we need a input field. So for name, input type will be text, and let's say name equal to name. So let me just copy this div, Control C, and I'm going to paste it three times actually. So the second one, this one will be email. Let's say here email, and for email the input type will be email, and let's say name equal to email as well, and this one will be for password. So let's say here password, then input type will be password for password, and here name equal to password. Just keep it simple. And this last one, it will be the submit button. So for submit button we do not require level, so input type for submit button will be submit, and here let's say name equal to register. So if I now save it, then if we just refresh here you can see some input field, name, email and password, and the submit button. Okay, instead of submit, let's say here register. So for it we'll just say here value, it will be register. So if I now save it, then let's refresh. Okay, it's written over here register. Now we'll just make some simple design for this input field. I'll make it as quick as possible. So first of all, let's have this input field and this text in the middle. So for it, here you can see the register h1 tag. So before this, let's just mention the center tag. The center tag will start over here and the center tag will end over here after this form. So if I now save it, then refresh. So here you can see our register form is in the middle. Now let's have this register form over here at this position. So for it, let's go back, and here you can see the center tag. So before this center tag, we are going to mention another div. So this div will end over here after this center tag. So inside this div, let's just mention a class. Let's say class will be let's say form underscore, let's say position. It will be form position. So here you can see the class form position. So we're going to write some css for this class. So for it, we'll write the css inside this head part. So in order to write the css inside the head, we need to mention the style tag. So inside this style tag, we are going to mention this class. So in order to mention class, we have to give dot, then the name, which is form underscore position. So here we are just going to say padding, let's say padding top, let's say 200 px. So currently if we save it, then if we just refresh, so here you can see it's now in the middle. Now let's also write some design for this level, and let's also create some gap so that it look better. So for it, here you can see we have a tag called level. So since this is a tag, so we do not need to give any dot before it. So let me just say here level, and inside it we are going to say display. It will be inline block, then let's say width, it will be let's say 100 px. So if we save it, then if we just refresh, so here you can see it looks better. Now let's create some gap between them. So for it, we are going to say padding top, it will be let's say 10 px. Then let's also say padding bottom 10 px as well. So if you now save it, then if we just refresh here you can see there is some gap. Now let's also add a background color for this form. So let's say our background color will be sky blue. So for it, here let me just go here, you can see the form tag. So inside this form tag we are going to mention another class. Let's say it will be form underscore deg, it means design, let's say. So we are going to write some css for this class. So let's go at the top, and inside this style tag we are going to mention another class. So in order to mention class, we need to give a dot, then we'll say form underscore deg, and here we are going to say background color, it will be sky blue. So if you save it now and if we just refresh, here you can see it looks like this. Now we do not want the background color width to be full, so let's have the width to be like this, like let's say 500 px. So here we are going to say width, it will be 500 px. Save it, let's refresh. Okay, this looks better. Now let's have some gap at the top and at the bottom as well. So for it, let's say over here padding top 70 px, then padding bottom it will be 70 px as well. Save, then refresh. Okay, this looks better. Now here you can see the register. Let's also make some design for this register text as well. So for it, okay, here you can see the h on tag. Okay, instead of h on tag, let's just mention over here div opening and div closing, and inside this div we're going to mention a class. Let's say it will be title. Class name will be title. Now let's go at the top, and here inside this style, let's say dot title. So here we're going to say background color. Now for the title, background color will be, let's say, black. So if I now save it, let me just refresh here. Okay, here you can see that background color is like this, and you cannot see the text because the text color is also black. So let's also change the text color. So let's say here color, it will be white, and let's also mention the width, it will be 500 px, and let's also mention the font size for the text. So font size, it will be, let's say 25 px. Save, then let's refresh. So this looks better. Now let's also add some padding as well. So let's say here padding top 10 px and padding bottom 10 px, and let's also say font width, it will be bold. Save it. Now let's refresh. Okay, now this looks great. So our registration page design is complete. Okay, let's also make some design for this register button. Now in order to make design for this register button, we're going to use Bootstrap. Now since if you want to use Bootstrap, you need to add Bootstrap CDN in your code. So that is actually really simple. You just have to search for Bootstrap CDN. If you just Bootstrap CDN link, and if you just press enter and just go to this link, getting started, and here you can see the Bootstrap CDN link over here. Just copy the whole thing from here, Control C, and I'm just going to paste it inside my head tag. Okay, so over here you cannot paste it inside style, you need to paste it outside the style tag. So here, so once you add this, we'll be able to use Bootstrap class. So here you can see the button over here, the register button. So here we are just going to mention a class. So we'll say class, it will be btn, let's say success. Save it. Now let's just refresh here. Okay, you can see the button over here that looks like this. So our registration page is complete. Now let's make our login page, and that will be really simple because we are just going to copy the code from the register.php. So let me just copy everything from here. So I'll just click Ctrl A, then Ctrl C, and I'm going to paste it inside login.php. So Ctrl V, and instead of register here, we're going to say, let's say login, let's say login form, and at the top in the title we'll also say login page. And for login, we're going to use email and password only. So let me remove this name. And here you can see the value equal to register and name equal to register. So let's say here name equal to login and value equal to login. So let's save it. Now now we'll go to our login.php. So here we're going to say login.php and press enter. So here you can see login form, you can see email, password, and the login button. So we made design for both our login page and registration page. Now let's go back to our register.php. Let me just say over here register.php and press enter. So here we're going to do the user registration part first. So in order to make registration, first of all, we need to create a database and a table. So for it, let me just go to my data PSP here, and I'll just click over here, new, and here you can see database name. So here we're going to say, let's say PHP tutorial will be our database name, and here if you just click create, here you can see database created successfully. Here you can see PHP tutorial database over here. So here you can see name, create table. So we are going to create a table here. So in order to create a table, we need to give the table name. Let's say our table name will be user, and the number of column will be 4. One will be ID, then name, email, and password. So I think number of column 4 is okay. Then I'll just click here, go. So here you can see, then it will take us to this page, and here first of all we'll say here ID, then we'll say here name, then this one will be email, and this one will be password. So we'll make our ID to be the primary key. So we'll just go at the right side, and here you can see AI. Now AI means auto increment. It means ID will be auto incremented. So if I just click on it, here you can see it automatically become primary. So ID will be primary. So here you can see name and you can see type. So we need to choose our type here. So let's say here varchar, and let's say length will be let's say 50. And for email again we'll choose varchar, then the length will be 50. And for password we'll also choose varchar and length 50 as well. So right now we'll just go down, and here you can see a save button. So if I just click on it, so here you can see it created table called user. If we go inside, here you can see ID, name, email, and password. So right now we're going to write some code so that the user can register from here, and it will automatically upload the data in the database table. So let's go back to our code, and we'll go to register.php, and here you can see that we mentioned form here. So inside this form, first of all we require to say here action, then we also need to say here method. Now the method will be post because we'll be uploading data to the table. And here you can see actions. So inside this action we're going to mention register.php, this same file name actually. So we are mentioning the same file name because we are going to write some PHP code for uploading those data to the database in the same file. That's why if you want to let's say write those code, write those PHP code in order to upload in different file, then you have to mention that file name over here. And I'm just going to write the PHP code in the same file. That's why I mentioned the same file name inside the action, which is register.php. So right now we'll go at the top, and here in order to write PHP code we need to give Psp opening and Psp closing like this. This is Psp opening and this is Psp closing. So here inside this Psp opening and closing, first of all we're going to connect this register.php to our database. So in order to connect this page to the database, that is actually really simple. So first of all we're going to declare a variable, let's say $host equal to, it will be localhost. Then the second one will be, let's say $user equal to, it will be root. The third one will be $password equal to, it will be null. And the last one it will be $db. db means we are going to write over here our database name, which is php tutorial. So after this we'll declare a variable, let's say $data equal to, we'll say my sqli underscore connect. So inside this two first bracket we are going to mention those variable $host, $user, $password, and $db. So let's say here $host, comma $user, comma $password, comma $db. So once you write this Mysql connect and all those variable, it means our this register.php is connected to the database. So if I now save it and if I just refresh here, we will not see any error or issue. But let's say we change the database name over here. Let's make it on23, and we do not have PSP tutorial on23 database. So if I now save it, then if I refresh, it should give us an error. So here you can see warning, Mysql connect unknown database PHP tutorial on23. So if I just remove this on23, save it, then refresh, here you can see there is no error right now. So it means our this register.php page is successfully connected to the database. So right now we are going to write the PHP code in order to upload those data, name, email, and password to the database. So here you can see the submit button. over here you can see value register and name equal to register. So first of all, we'll check if someone actually click on the register button. So if someone click on this register button, then we'll send the user at the top, and we are going to give a if condition for clicking on the register button. So we are going to say here if, we'll give two first bracket, then here we are going to say is set, and inside this two first bracket we are going to say dollar underscore post, and here you can see a third bracket and two single quotation. So inside it we are going to say register. So here you can see this register is actually, here you can see name equal to register, this one, and we write post. Here you can see in the form we say over here method is method equal to post. That's why we need to keep here dollar underscore post. So if someone click the register button, we want to get the name, email, and the password. Here you can see name equal to name equal to email, and name equal to password. So using those name, we'll get all those value over here in this if condition. So for it, let me just declare variable. Let's say dollar username equal to, we'll say dollar underscore post, and here I'm going to say name. Now here this name is actually this one. Here you can see name equal to name. So we are going to do the same thing for the email and the password. So let me just copy this on, Control C, and I'm going to paste it two times, on and two. So here instead of username, here it will be email. Let's say a dollar underscore post, it will be email, and let's say this one will be, let's say pass, and here we'll say password. So once you write this, it means we'll be able to get the name, email, and password inside those variables. So right now inside this if condition, we're going to declare variable, let's say $SQL equal to, we're going to write a query over here. So we'll give two double quotation, and inside it we're going to say insert into, we'll mention our table name, which is user. Let me just show you the table name again. Let me just zoom in. Here you can see the table name is user. So insert into user, then we'll give two first bracket, and inside it we're going to say name, comma email, comma password. Now here you can see name, email, and password. Now those three is coming from here, from this table. Let me just zoom in. Here you can see name, email, and password, and you need to write them exactly you write in the database. So here after this we are going to say here values, then we'll give again two first bracket. Now inside this first bracket we'll give two single quotation, and here you can see we write name first, and here we write dollar username equal to dollar post name. So here we are going to write the username over here. So let me just say over here dollar username, then we'll give comma. Here you can see email, and here we write dollar email equal to email. So here we'll again give two single quotation, and we'll say dollar email, and the last one is password. So here you can see dollar pass. So here we'll give two single quotation, then we'll say dollar pass. So after this we are going to declare another variable. Let's say dollar result equal to, we are going to say, we'll say my SQLi underscore query, then two first bracket, and here inside this first we are going to mention this dollar data variable, where we connect this page to the database. So first of all we are going to say here dollar data, then we'll give comma, then we'll say this dollar SQL variable. So dollar SQL. So once you write this line, it means we'll be able to, and we should be able to upload all this data to the database. So let me just give a if condition, if, and I'll just say dollar result. The upload is, it means we'll come to this if condition if the upload is successful. So we say dollar result, let's say echo, let's say register success. So right now save it, and let's go back to our browser, and let me just refresh here. Okay, now let's say here yamin, let's give the email, which is yamin@gmail.com, and let's give the password 1234. And if we just click register, okay, there is a issue $pass. Okay, I did a spelling mistake here. I give triple S here, it will be double S. So let me save it again and let me just refresh here again. So here in the name, let's say here Shakil, let's give the email shakil@gmail.com. Let's give the password 1234 and let's click register. So here you can see the upload success message over here, and if you just refresh in the browser, here you can see Shakil and email and the password. So here you can see our registration part is done. Okay, let me just delete this one. This one doesn't have any password. Okay, let's do one more thing, and that is after registration it will take the user to login page. So let's go back to our code, and here you can see if $result echo. So instead of echo, let's say here header, and inside this two first bracket we are going to say location, then this clone sign, then we are going to say login.php. So right now let's save it, Control S, and let me just refresh over here, and let's say here name Yamin, and let's say email will be yamin@gmail.com, and let's also give the password 1234. And if you click register, here you can see it took us to the login page. In the URL you can also see login.php. Now if the user give the email and password and click login, it will take the user to the home page. So let's go back to our code, and this time we'll go to login.php. So here you can see this is our login.php, and here you can see the form, you can see email, password, and the login button here. So first of all, in this form we are going to mention here action, then we'll say here method. So here the method will be post, and let's say action will be login.php. It means we are going to write the PHP code for this login in this same PHP file. It means login.php. So let's just go at the top, and in order to write the PHP code we need to give PHP tag. This is the PHP tag opening, then PHP closing tag, and inside this we're going to write the code for the login. So first of all we need to connect this login.php to our database, and just like before we did in the register.php, to connect this register.php to the database we write this 5 line of code. So I'm just going to copy this 5 line of code, Control C, and I'll paste it inside this login.php. So Control V. So here you can see $host equal to localhost, $user equal to root, password is null, and this is our database name, $tv equal to php tutorial. Then we write $data equal to mysql underscore connect, and then we mention all those variable that we declare over here. So after writing this 5 line of code, we are actually connected to the database from this login.php page. So right now we are going to write the code for the logins. So here first of all we are going to give a if condition, and inside this if condition we are going to say is set, then we'll say $underscore post, we'll give two third bracket and two single quotation, and inside it we are going to say login. Now where is this login coming from? Now if we just go down, here you can see the submit button for login, and here you can see name equal to login. Now this name equal to login is actually this one. Okay, so after this, okay, one more thing, let me just mention here you can see $underscore post. Now this post is coming from here. You can see in the form we mention method equal to post. So right now we'll first get the email and the password, and we'll check if that email and password matches with the user table or exist in the user table. So for it, first of all, let me just declare a variable. Let's say $username equal to, we'll say $underscore post, and here we're going to say email. Sorry, this one will be email, not username. We're going to log in using email. Then after email, okay, let me just copy this line, Control C and Control V. So after email, we'll get the password. Let's say here pass, and here we're going to say password. Now those two things, email and this password, is coming from here. I'm just repeating things again and again because I want you to be clear about this. So here you can see name equal to email, name equal to password. So after this, we will write the SQL query. So let me say over here $SQL. Let me use smaller letter, equal to, we'll give two double quotation, and inside it we are going to say select star from our table name, which is user. Then we are going to say where email equal to, we'll give two single quotation actually. Now inside this single quotation, we are going to give two double quotation. Then we'll give two dot, and then inside this two dot, we are going to mention this $email. So let me just copy it and paste it here. Then we are going to say, and we'll say password equal to, we'll give two single quotation, then we'll give two double quotation, again we'll give two dot, and inside it here you can see we stored the password in this $pass variable. So let me just copy it and paste it inside this two double dot. So here you can see email and also see password. Now this email and this password is coming from the database. Let me just show you. Here you can see email and password. Now those two things is actually coming from the database. So let me refresh. I think I added on more data. Okay. So email and password coming from the database. So we are checking actually, first of all, we are getting the email and the password. Then we are checking if those email and that password exist in our user table. So after this, we are going to say another variable, let's say $result equal to mysql I underscore query. We'll give two first bracket and indeed with a semicolon. Now inside this mysql I underscore query, we are going to say $data, comma, we'll say $SQL. Now here you can see $data. Now this $data is coming from here. Here you can see $data. Here we connect this page to the database, and here you can see $SQL is actually this one. So if the result is true, it means the email and password matches with the database. So after result, we are going to declare another variable. Let's say $row equal to, we'll say SQLi underscore page underscore array. Then we'll give two first bracket, and inside it we are going to say $result. And here you can see this $result is actually this one. So if all those condition is right, it means if a row exists in the table, then we'll say if, we'll say $row. So if the email and password matches, it means there is a row exist in our database table. So if the row exists, we'll send the user to the home.php. So here in this if condition, we are going to say header. Then inside this first bracket, we'll give two single quotation. Then we are going to say location. Then this clone will say home.php. So after login, it will send the user to home.php. So let's go to our home.php, and let me just say over here a simple HTML tag. And in the title, let's say here home page. And in this body, we are going to give a h1 tag. Then we are going to say welcome home. So now let's save it, Control S. Now let's go back to our browser and let's refresh here. So here in the email, we are going to say yamin@gmail.com, and our password was 1234. Now if I click login, here you can see it took us to home page. Now what if we give the wrong password? Will it take us to the home page? No, it will not. Now let's just give a wrong password over here, and if I click login, here you can see it didn't take us to the home page, but it should show us a message that password or email do not match. So here we'll go to login.php, and after this if condition, we are going to give else condition. So here we'll just say echo, let's say email or password do not match. So if this condition is wrong, then we'll automatically come to this else condition. So let's save it. Now let's just refresh. So okay, the email or password do not match. Okay, let me just refresh like this. Okay, now let's just give a random email at gmail.com, and let's keep the password right. Let's write 1234 and click login. So here you can see it shows a message that email or password do not match. Now let's again just log into our home page. Let's say yamin at gmail.com. Let's keep the password, click login. So here you can see welcome home. Now let's just also show the let's say user email in this page, welcome home, and we'll show the email over here. So for it, that will be really simple. So here you can see login.php, and here we are sending the user to the home.php. So what we are going to do is that we'll say over here $_session, and inside this session, let's say here email equal to, and if we just go a little at the top, here you can see we stored the input email in this $email variable. So here let me just copy it and I'll paste it over here. So if you just write this line, then it will send this email to this location home.php automatically. Now if you use session, you need to add session start at the top. So let me just say over here session underscore start. Okay, so we need to add session underscore start at the beginning. So right now we'll be able to use this session and send this email to our home page. So in order to get the email in this home page, again here after this welcome home, we'll give the PHP tag opening, then closing, and then inside it we are going to say echo, then we'll say $_session email. Now this one is actually over here, you can see $_session email, this one. Okay, so since we are also using session in the home.php, so we also need to say over here session underscore start. So let's save it, and if we just refresh, okay, there is warning undefined key email. Okay, let's just go back and let's try to log in again from here. Okay, let me just refresh and let's keep the email, the password, click login. Okay, we can see the email over here perfectly. Here you can see yamin at gmail.com. So more or less our most of the work is done. Now if we are login, it means we also should have a logout option over here. So let's make the logout option. That is actually really simple. We'll just do it in just a few seconds. So for creating a logout option, that will be really simple. We'll just give an anchor tag here. Let's give an anchor tag opening, then closing, and here inside this anchor tag, let's say here href. So here we are going to say logout.php, and here we are going to say let's say logout. Now if you save it, then if we just refresh, so here you can see we have a logout option over here. Now if we click this logout, it will automatically take us to the login page. So here you can see we do not have logout.php. Obviously we didn't create it. So we'll create this logout.php. So I'll just right click over here, then click new file. Then I'm going to say logout.php. Control S, then save. So here first let's give the Psp opening tag, then closing tag. Then we are going to say here session start. Then we'll say session. It will be session destroy. Then at last we'll say header, and it will be location. We'll send the user to login.php. So let's say here login.php. Save it. Now let's refresh here again. Now if you click on this logout option, here you can see it take us to the login page. So I hope everything is clear to you. I try to make this tutorial as easy as possible. I cannot make it more easier than this. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope this tutorial was helpful. And if you like this video, then please let me know in the comment section, and if you want to appreciate me, then please subscribe to this channel. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned and stay healthy.